And welcome back to On TV. So happy to see you, Mr. Frank Fata. How are you?
Good, good. I was hoping I could take a minute or two and just make a comment, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, seeing the thousands of people that are trying to get into Ontario, Quebec, most of Canada, it kind of makes me reflect on when my family came to Sault Ste. Marie back in the mid-50s. That includes my parents, myself, aunts and uncles and cousins, Cachemilios, Caputos, you know. And my wife's side, the Lentos, you know, like we were so full of pride to come here, and life has been great. So sometimes I think what I'm trying to say here is that comments were made recently on a Facebook page by a candidate who works for the Huron Superior School Board, and he states that I'm outspoken. And you know, sometimes I would take that word outspoken and maybe translate it to passionate. I think it's important to be passionate, and that's what I try and do. And if people read that wrong, it's unfortunate. I like to believe that the majority of people read it correctly. And if I were successful in representing the good residents of the west end of the city, if I had half the passion that a former great councillor Frank Manzo had, then I think they will be well served by this candidate.
Absolutely. Well said, sir.
Thank you.
Now, you're running for Ward 5.
That's correct.
I had heard rumors that you were going to run for mayor.
Those were short-lived.
Were they?
Yeah.
What changed your mind?
As Clint Eastwood once said, you got to know your limitations. So no, that was not. There were names mentioned. I mean, you know how things go
Sure,
sometimes.
yeah.
Rumors were mentioned of various people that might have been running for mayor. So I was keeping my ears close to the surface there, but no, that was never my intent.
Is there ever a time where you would do that?
No, I don't think so. You being a councillor, I mean, is really, I look at it as being a public servant. Yeah, I've been a public servant all my life, since 1982, and before that, when I spent time in Algoma Steel and so on and so forth. But I've been a public servant all my life, and I think as a city councillor, you are a public servant. You are a liaison of the people of your city, the entire city. But I represent my constituents in my ward on a daily basis, and I can do this, if elected, on a full-time basis.
And they can reach you. You're very
They
available.
can reach me at 9 a.m. I could be at their house by 10 a.m. Whether it's Carpent Beach Road, whether it's Lees Bay Road, whether it's Prentice Avenue, or the top end of Old Goulet Bay Road.
Now, the wards are changed a little bit.
Yep.
So you are running in Ward 5, just to
I'm
make
running
sure
in Ward
everybody
5,
understands
that's correct,
that.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I am running in Ward 5. This is somewhat similar to what happened to me back in 2007. There were 4 candidates back then, and I hadn't thought about it, you know, seriously about running. I was actually in the process of helping a friend of mine in her campaign, and then it sort of dawned on me. I says, you know, maybe I should think about running for council. And then I told my wife about that and wanted to see what she thought. So needless to say, you know, I was successful, and this go around, I think it seems similar, but I think I feel quite confident. I really feel I know why I'm doing it. It's that simple, and call it outspokenness.
Call it passion.
Call it passion, I'm guilty.
Absolutely. What are some of the issues that you're thinking are important in this campaign for you to address?
You know, we have to sometimes be careful because there's certain things we have control over and other things we don't have control
Sure.
over. So we certainly, again, I tend to be outspoken in areas where maybe I have no real control, and sometimes my eagerness to speak out may be translated. But I think it's important to realize that youth migration is important. Now, that is an area that we do have control over. We're working closely with Algoma through its process. Of course, you know, we're not controlling the end result, but we're certainly going to be, you know, close in there. We have to be careful that we show that we are very supportive, because certainly it's a very important part of our workforce and of our you know, just economy. So. We have to realize that taxes are a huge thing, and we have control over that. You know, we've got issues here. I'm outspoken when it comes to being in tune with what people out there think. A lot of what I say is a reflection of what people tell me. Like, I think sometimes counselors seem to think that, you know, I'm a counselor, I'll make a decision. That's not the way I work. I want to hear from people. I talk to people sometimes on a daily basis. I used to talk to Frank Manzo at least once or twice a week. He'd call me at about 11 o'clock at night, and he shared his thoughts with me while he was on council and even after he left council.
My goodness,
But
that's amazing.
taxes are important, and
They are.
especially industrial taxes. If we don't increase our tax base and if it remains stagnant, our resident taxes will go up because we don't look at Elliott Lake when they lost the mines. It all went right down to residential. We need to be concerned about our industrial and of course our large commercial too, and our small commercial. I mean, the issue about small business operators, they are the backbone of our city. If things go wrong here, you and I, we sell our house, move on. A business person, their life is here. They build up their goodwill.
Investment
we
of
have to
money
worry
and
about
time.
our small, large, and certainly our industrial. So that's important. There's things that we're working on. I tend to be very supportive of my fellow councillors. I don't look at it as anything where we're, I've got one pulling in one direction, pulling the other way. I think common sense sometimes dictates which way you pull. We spend our tax dollars wisely. Recently, with the EDC, we reduced their funding by about $400,000. I was vocal that I wasn't necessarily prepared to just go out and spend it again. That money was saved because we thought that we would streamline the operation, maybe make it more efficient. But then we turned around, the will of council was to spend that money. No sooner did we get it, we spent it. Well, I wasn't totally in agreement with that.
Is it ever frustrating when you don't totally agree and then you get sort of
I don't want to
outvoted?
say frustrated because I respect the people that are with me on council. This
And
is,
you can differ your opinion,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
When we go to the back room after council, we are speaking fine. Everything's good. That's the way I want it. I don't want to carry a grudge but I voted for the splash pad park, for example, okay? Because we have to worry about our youth, our young families. This is just an example of something that we have to sort of bite the bullet, if you want to say that. But I preferred it to go at Clerk Park. I was public about that. But in the end, the will of council was to put it where it's going. That's fine. Downtown, we worry about downtown. Downtown is literally on the waterfront. It's not like some cities where the downtown is just, it's not necessarily in an attractive area. It's downtown, it's on the waterfront. To bring things into downtown. We keep talking about helping downtown. That would have been an example of something that would have caused more traffic. The boardwalk is fine, but the boardwalk doesn't have any attractions. I spoke publicly about this hot diggity dog. He was down there. He had a nice little hot dog stand, hamburger stand. It brings families downtown. It was eventually we had to turn him away. He's now in Kapuskasing, running a very good business because I was able to talk to him a short time later, find out how he's doing. But we have to make our downtown attractive. Bring things there that people will attract them. And if you attract young kids, chances are you're attracting the adults.
Well, sure, they got to come with somebody, right?
So we got to use common sense. I think common sense is the biggest part of it.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's awfully good to see you again. Best of luck. Sounds like you've got some really good campaign issues you're going to deal with.
Well, I'm telling you, passion, outspoken, call it what you want.
You'll be in the room.
I'll be in the room.
Definitely. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
We'll take this break. We'll be right back.